Hello everyone, Chris here with Platinum Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a Platinum review on Outriders on PlayStation 5. If you do not know what a Platinum review is, that is where I platinum the game, I complete it in all its glory, get the Platinum trophy, and then I give it the review. That way you get the full review and not just well, I beat the campaign, or, I actually put a lot of time and effort into the end game and stuff like that. So this is more of a full review in my opinion. So, like I said, this is the Platinum review for Outriders on PlayStation 5. Outriders came out on March 30th on the PlayStation 4, PS5, the Xbox family of consoles, and PC. I believe Google Stadia, but don't quote me on that last one. Outriders is from the developer People Can Fly. If you don't know what People Can Fly is, they are a developer that actually made one of my favorite first-person shooters of all time, Bulletstorm. Bulletstorm came out on 360, and I feel like it was really, really underrated. I loved Bulletstorm, so I was very excited for this game. Really, really excited for it, and they did a good job with it, but there are a lot of flaws to it, and we'll dive into it and kind of explain all my gripes and all my pros and just really beat this game up in a fun way. I don't know what that was, but all right, let's do this. So, first off, with Outriders is the story. Now, if you've seen any of my reviews, you know that I do not like talking about the story. I don't like going into it because I don't want to ruin anything for you. So, I'll just kind of touch base on the story. The takes place in another planet called Enoch. I might be butchering that, but it's like Enoch. You come from Earth and you go to the planet, and you're pretty much just trying to survive. As you can see here, this is the story. There's a lot of different story points in there. The game's is actually pretty decent size. Each area, depending on if you're doing everything or if you're just rushing through the story. If you're just rushing through the story, depending on your difficulty that you're playing on, each area can take probably about 30 minutes to an hour. If you're on a higher difficulty and you're playing through that way, the and completing everything in every area, it can take 2 hours or more, just depending on if you die and difficulty, pretty much. Uh, Outriders is a looter shooter, and at the base of that, you really want looter shooters have to have a lot of really, really important things to work good. You have to have a uh, good shooting mechanics, good combat, and good loot. And I really think they do succeed in that. But yeah, the story though was it was okay. It wasn't anything amazing. It wasn't anything that made me go, oh yeah, I would never recommend this game based on the story. Uh, it's very bland. It starts off okay, and it's a decent story, but as the game progresses, the story kind of gets worse. Yeah, it's an okay story. So definitely, if you're looking for a game with a really good story, don't play Outriders. But yeah, as I was saying about the loot and everything, as you can see, here's the gear. You have multiple different gear options, which I'll kind of dive deeper into later on in the video. But you can upgrade the gear using titanium. You have steel and leather that you can also use for different upgrading. You have skills based on which character you pick. I picked the Pyromancer, but there's Technomancer, Trickster, and Devastator. You have skills that make it to where a flame comes up from the ground, or a volcano shoots up, or you can shoot fire rounds. And each skill really, really feels different. You have a class tree. You have different abilities. You can choose to go different routes, and as you can see, there's a lot of different abilities to unlock. You can't unlock them all, so it just bases on how you want to branch out your character, which can completely change the play style in which you're playing. There is the accolade system. Now, this system is a really good system. It makes it to where kill 100 enemies with the sniper rifle, and if you kill 100 enemies, you get a banner. And this is a really good way to track your progress in the game. This section is before I got the platinum, but up here you can see this is probably the hardest trophy to get, and you're having to complete class specific skills, and you have to master each one, which is like kill 1,000 enemies using one skill, and yeah, it's very tedious. It is very grindy trophies. So if you're playing multiple characters, it's probably going to take you even longer if you're switching back and forth between them. So I would suggest sticking to just one character when you do that, so you're not having to go back and forth. You do have customization options for like your vehicle. It doesn't really do anything. It's just cosmetic. You don't get to drive around and anything like that. It just sits at the camp. You have your banner, which is your flag to go back and forth places. That's just customization. You have emotes in the game. As you can see, there's that one, and I was like, oh, that's dope. I'm gonna add it. So that was one that got unlocked from an accolade. So, like I was saying, as you complete accolades, you unlock different emotes, unlock different abilities. So the accolade system is really, really awesome. There's a world tier system in the game. As you can see here, the world tiers base as you get further in the game, it increases your world tier, which gives you harder enemies. And you can see enemies are plus 10 or plus 11 compared to your level. They're also more difficult. They're better loot drops. So the higher your world tier, the better chance you have to get better guns. Also, your weapon level cap goes up. So the higher the world tier, when you get a weapon, it's going to be even higher than if you had a lower world tier. So the goal is to have top world tier and be able to wreck everybody. But yeah, I mean, like I was saying, the gameplay is very, very solid. It's a looter shooter, and I think they really nail it as far as the combat. It's very smooth. They do it really well. I don't have any gripes about the combat. I had no issues with it. The shooting mechanics are really good. The skill abilities work really well. The camera angles work. I really, really enjoyed the combat in this game. The looting aspect of it works really well as well. You're killing the enemies and they're dropping really good loot. The higher the world tier, the better loot you're going to get. You can choose to dismantle that loot or to sell the loot, and it's really easy. There's an auto loot system, which I absolutely love. You can set up that auto loot system to where when you're playing and you see loot drop and you're, in the middle of combat, you can just press down and it picks up all the loot that's on the ground. So it's really, really awesome to be able to, kill everybody in the area and be like, all right, down. And then everything that dropped from all those enemies you can pick up. So as you can see there, purple item dropped. All I would have had to do is press down, which is what I did. I just ran up to it to see what it was. But yeah, just press the down button and it picks it up for you. And it literally picks up everything in the area, which is really, really awesome. As you can see, different weapons have different abilities. This gun that I have now makes it to where all enemies are slow. Also, it shoots up an anomaly. Which is another modification that it has. That anomaly, when it's shot, or it does blow up on its own, but when it's shot, it damages everybody. This other gun shoots down lightning from the sky. It also creates a sandstorm that damages enemies. So each gun plays very, very differently, which is something that they did so well. And that is helped out by the modification system. With the guns and with the armor, you unlock mods. The mods can be if you dismantle that weapon with that modification on it, as you can see here, it shows like a sandstorm, level 3 mod. If you dismantle that weapon and you don't have that mod already, that mod becomes unlocked and you can use it on any weapon. But you do have to dismantle it first. If you chose to sell this instead, then you would not have that mod. It would not unlock. You have to dismantle to get that. You can see a little 4 dot square thing next to it. If you have that, that means you already have that unlocked. So you can kind of mess around with that and see. You also do have with legendary armors, if you have a set bonus, which you have 3 or more in that set, then you get a bonus that gives you, better things. So the modification system is very, very awesome, and they do such a great job at everything with the actual gameplay. I really, really enjoyed the gameplay in this game. However, there are a lot of issues that I did have with the gameplay. There are a lot of technical glitches. Not a lot of technical glitches as far as like gameplay wise, but I've had times where doors don't open and you have to replay an area. I've had times to where enemies glitch through walls and you have to come up with creative ways to kill them. I've had times where certain enemies didn't spawn, and you had to respawn your checkpoint. It's very annoying, but it's nothing too bad. But now on to the bad ones. There's glitches that make it to where your character completely wipes all his inventory, and yeah, you can't play as that character anymore. Right here is some end game stuff as well. There's expeditions end game, which I didn't go over in the gameplay, so we're gonna hit that really quick. Expeditions that make it to where you're go on these little quests. They're 15 to 30-minute quests, depending on your difficulty that you're playing on, and if you have other people with you, stuff like that. It's timed. The better you do, the better gear you get. A drop pod comes down, you get to collect the resources from that drop pod. It's really really fun end game content, and I can definitely see people coming back to it. That being said, this is where that glitch kind of stinks because you play through the game, you get all the end game stuff, and I actually had this happen to a really good friend of mine. We and him were playing expeditions together. Um, all his content got wiped, so he can't play as that character anymore. So he pretty much uninstalled the game, which really really stinks. But I mean, I understand. I mean, this to have everything with your character just go away kind of stinks. People Can Fly. They did say that they are working on a fix towards it, but unfortunately, they don't have one currently. So yeah, it's kind of disheartening. If you're going to play this game, wait a little bit so that you can kind of avoid that glitch. Also, server issues. The game has been plagued with server issues. The first 3 days that the game came out, it was almost unplayable, including the third day. They completely shut down the servers to make it to where, unfortunately, you couldn't play it for a few hours. I sat down to play the game. I couldn't even play it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. So it really stinks to have a brand new game and not be able to play it. The servers were just not up to par for the game release, and they've had nothing but issues, which is really, really stinky. I hated it when it first came out because I couldn't play it and I wanted to because the game is very, very fun. All right, so that leads us into our last section before we wrap this up, and that is graphic. Graphically, this game reminds me of moose testicles. I've never seen moose testicles, but I would assume they aren't pretty. As you can see, the environments are just kind of bland, especially for this being next generation at PlayStation 5. I would expect it to look good. And it doesn't look bad, but it's sad when the opening scene, not even the opening scene, the startup screen is the best looking part about your game. Even the credits, or not the credits, the actual cinematics don't really look good. The character models are bland, the enemies are bland. It just doesn't look great. It's not horrible, but at the same time, it's not the best graphics in the world, especially for this being on PlayStation 5. I would assume that the game would look a lot better, but just everything kind of just looks dull and bland. Now, with all that being said, Outriders is a fun game. They do succeed at making a great looter shooter, and it is a really, really fun game that I would highly suggest playing. However, like I said, with all the glitches, all the issues in the game, don't play it right away. Give it a few more weeks. Let them work out all the bugs and kinks. That way, you're not disappointed. Um, like I said, it's really, really fun. They succeed in practically everything. The story's kind of meh. The graphics kind of meh, but the gameplay is where it's at. The gameplay is very, very fun, and it has really good end game content. So I would highly suggest playing it. As far as a review, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. Granted, that could have gone up if it wasn't for all the glitches and bugs. So if you're playing this game a few weeks from now and you're like, what, 7.5? You might actually think it's higher just because they fixed all the issues that they've had. But unfortunately, with it being a launch game and just all the issues that are not launch game, but all the issues at launch, I can't go higher than 7.5, unfortunately. But like I said, it's a really, really good game. Definitely check it out. As far as the platinum's concerned, it's not a hard platinum to get. It's just kind of grindy. So just get you some friends and sit down and drink a Pepsi and play through Outriders. You should be able to get the platinum. I'd probably say about 40 to 50 hours, maybe 30, just depending on the difficulty that you're playing on. But it's a fun time, so definitely play it. Like I said, I really, really enjoyed it. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching this review. If you like what you see, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know that you guys like what I'm doing. But yeah, no, hit that subscribe button and thank you guys so much. If there's any other games that you want to see me platinum review, let me know down below. Except for those Dark Soul games because I'm not trying to break a controller. I'll catch you guys next time in the next platinum review.